your Sooner starting five presented by Live OU. Everything is here. He's one of two graduate transfers along with Miles Reynolds. What a great rebounding season it's been for Brady Manick. His board play is up 3 per game, and you've got Doolittle and Christian James in there as well. The three juniors, DeZagua, Waters, and Cameron McGriff for the Cowboys. Likely is a freshman, as is Yor Ane. He's 6'10" with a 7'1" wingspan, averaging nearly 3 blocks per game. For the Sooners, ready to go, Bedlam from the Lloyd Noble Center. And it's tapped out of bounds. They'll give the first possession to Oklahoma State. As they say, Doolittle touched it last.
And with the injury, Jemani McNeese, who is available today, Oklahoma has been going small. Now, they don't have the rim protection, or haven't had it, but their defense has not suffered. They got great length all around the perimeter, and there's no weaknesses in those 5 defenders out on the floor. Very tough team for Big 12 opponents to score over the top on.
Shot clock is at 10 as it plays into the hands of McGriff. Likely the freshman out of the corner. 5 to shoot. DeZagua, that's a good look with a late shot clock, and it bounds up and over the backboard. DeZagua made 5 threes in a game against Oklahoma a season ago, but he is blanked on his first attempt. Let's check in with the third member of our crew today, Jessica Cootie. Jess?
Bedlam, there's just nothing like it. That was the exact phrase used by both Brady Manick and Lindy Waters. 2 Oklahoma kids growing up of dreaming, playing for Oklahoma schools and against the other Oklahoma teams. And both of those guys had to round up extra tickets, and neither one could guesstimate just how many supporters they would have here inside of this building today. And for those Oklahomans, they know exactly the magnitude of this game before ever even stepping in a court to play in this. But for those out-of-state players, they find out quickly. Take, for example, Aaron Calixte. He told me, the senior graduate transfer told me he had never played in a rivalry game like this one, in an atmosphere like this one, but he found out just what Bedlam means back on November 10th when the 2 football teams squared off. But, you know, despite the hype that they all admitted to, the extra hype leading into this one, several players admitted that the importance of this one, despite the opponent, both coming off losses, both looking for that critical first Big 12 win, and it would be that much sweeter coming here today in Bedlam.
Well, it can on occasion turn into a football game on the basketball court. A couple of buckets already, Miles Reynolds and Christian Doolittle. Miles Reynolds making a difference on the offensive and defensive end so far.
Well, he came to Oklahoma with a reputation to defend, but also a terrific driver that can get to the foul line. That has fit in very well with the other offensive weapons that Oklahoma has out on the perimeter.
Doolittle, quickness advantage on Ane, couple of ball fakes, and he has not made his second field goal of the day.
Good news, though, is I think you have 2 field goal attempts already from Christian Doolittle, as likely gets to the rim right there. Christian Doolittle for Oklahoma, extremely talented. I mean, he's got an NBA body. He's defensive-minded, but he's become more offensive potent here the last 3 or 4 games.
And there's Doolittle making a difference right on cue off dribble penetration from Christian James. That's 2 fouls early on Likely, the freshman point guard. Where does Mike Boynton go with these 2 early fouls?
Well, I think you go Curtis Jones or Michael Weathers. And that's big because Likely, although a freshman who's been thrown in the fire for Mike Boynton at the point guard position, he is one of Oklahoma State's best, if not the best, on-ball defenders. So now you take him out of the game. And for a long stretch, if not the entire of the first half right here, it'll put Oklahoma State's defense on the perimeter under more duress.
4 points for Christian Doolittle. Let's jump into Brendan's Keys, presented by Riverwind, the place to be. What do you have for us, Brendan?
Well, I think for Oklahoma, they've got to attack the paint, and whether that's offensive glass or penetration, getting to the heart of Oklahoma State's defense, and then minimize the Cowboys' threes. Oklahoma State, the leading percentage shooting team in the Big 12 from long range, and they rely on that heavily offensively because they don't have a potent offense or a go-to guy.
James shut down on the baseline. Reynolds triggers. In and out, no good. Lindy Waters snatches the rebound and ups the tempo a bit. He'll pull the trigger for 3. Cowboys 0 for 2 from downtown early in this one. Miles Reynolds has the rebound.
And you and I just mentioned for Oklahoma, Christian Doolittle being more assertive offensively, but so too has Lindy Waters. He is really looked for his shot the last couple of ball games for the Cowboys.
Calixte with a great find in Manick on the baseline. It will produce a pair of free throws for the Sooner sophomore.
Well, ball movement, in addition to that better, tougher defense from Oklahoma, was emphasis for Lon Kruger. Last year you had Trey Young, who was a ball-dominant player and talented there. And with Calixte, Miles Reynolds being added with some experience, you'll notice with Oklahoma it moves crisper, quicker, and once they get or force a help situation, that moving the ball quickly is tough for the defense then to catch up, and you saw it right there in that possession.
Brady Manick 20 pounds heavier. Where do you feel like that has shown up the most?
Defensive rebounding. He's got a terrific knack for it, but he's able now to absorb contact on the defensive end, and thus he's coming up with more of those checks.
6-0 spurt by the Sooners. McGriff for three. And Oklahoma State 0 for 3 now from three-point range. Calixte, hesitation, pulls up and got fouled. And Oklahoma really getting to the foul line with regularity early in this one.
In Oklahoma, they're about stops, series of stops, one and dones, not allowing you to hit the offensive glass. And what that allows, even though you don't get a look at the rim and transition right there, it allows you to push and get defenses back on their heels. And so Calixte able to get it deep enough for the pull-up jumper.
And Calixte makes Oklahoma 5 out of 5 from the foul line in the early going. And we see one of the seniors, Rashard Odoms, into the game, replacing Miles Reynolds for Oklahoma. And Mike Boynton will counter with Duncan DeMuth out of Seminole, Florida. He's one of those youngsters, 5 of them, who plays on a regular basis, 6'8" freshman.
And that's the nature of both these teams right now. Lon Kruger goes to his bench with Rashard Odoms, an experienced player, defensive specialist, tough, unselfish. And then Mike Boynton counters with Duncan DeMuth, a guy that can be a nice player in time, but obviously very little experience to this point.
DeMuth had a good run early in the season for Mike Boynton, earned himself 3 starts, but off the bench now. Shot clock is at 10 as it plays into the hands of Waters. McGriff trying to scoot through and catch the pass, and he was grabbed by Odoms, who picks up his first.
And the thing that this young Oklahoma State team has to do every offensive possession is what they did right there. They are not going to get a clean look of 1, 2, 3 passes. Oklahoma too disciplined defensively. So you got to not give up on your offense, move the ball crisply, and make a sharp cut like McGriff did right there down the lane.
It's already 4 fouls against Oklahoma, I should say against Oklahoma. Jones a 3 off the mark. There's Manick, 8 rebounds a game. He's up 3 in that category. And Calixte is grabbed. Fouls really piling up against the Cowboys. Lindy Waters has now picked up his second. So foul trouble early for Mike Boynton and the Cowboys.
Well, that's what you get. You miss those threes, you have long rebounds, and it can almost serve as a built-in outlet pass. So the ball's advanced up the floor, and as we mentioned, Calixte, one of the things he does well, gets the ball in the middle, and he puts pressure on your transition deep.
Lobs it up for Manick this time. Under the bucket. Shot might have been altered a little bit. McGriff pulls it away, and that's thrown away. Batted down by Christian James and saved deep in the corner. That was Christian James who came up with it. 2 turnovers against Oklahoma State. There's Odoms, a kick out. Calixte was not there, and that'll be an offensive foul anyway against Odoms as Lindy Waters risked his 3rd foul but took the charge. 9-2, Oklahoma leads at our first media timeout. Lloyd Noble Center with Bedlam on a Saturday afternoon.
Especially what it means to the fans.
Mike Boynton has now been a part of 4 of them. He said, it's the kind of game I love to play in. I didn't always play well. Didn't mean I was going to play well, but always loved being in a moment like this.
Yeah, I think that's why you play at this level, is to play when you're uncomfortable and for moments to rise above adversity.
McGriff's first attacking opportunity, and he comes through.
And that's important for Oklahoma State because Cam McGriff, who is a nice 3-point shooter when he has space, but they have to get him things moving towards the rim, whether it's off the bounce, touches inside, slashes to the basket, those type of opportunities.
3 for Christian James is good. Hasn't shot it real well lately. That's a good sign for Oklahoma.
Well, he has struggled from the perimeter, and he's due for a breakout game.
Ane came to a jump stop, short-armed it, and there's Manick with another rebound. Manick steps into his first three. Waters runs the other way with a rebound. And McGriff backs down Manick. Oklahoma State settles into the half court.
And Oklahoma, good job of getting back in transition off the miss.
Kazagwa, tough shot, altered somewhat by Odoms, who has the miss. Here's Bieniemy, the freshman, comes off the bench. James in traffic, and if that's Waters, it's 3.
Let's look at Christian James. He has struggled from the field the last about 4 games, but he still produced points by getting to the line with slashes and plays right here. And we've talked about his tremendous rebounding. Right now, you talk about that part of the game with Christian James. He's the best rebounding guard in the Big 12 Conference.
3 fouls on Lindy Waters. Significant foul trouble early for the Cowboys. Matt Freeman and Ane impacts that one. The rebound is taken away by Weathers. Weathers, good dribble penetration, point guard. Ane runs into James. And a foul call on the rebound as Manick came up with it.
The fouls quickly piled up for Oklahoma State.
That's already 7, so bonus time for the Sooners, and they shoot free throws well.
And this is one right here. You know, Ane is a guy that, particularly on the defensive end, that Mike Boynton needs on the floor. And the freshman right there, there's no way he can get to the basketball and go in over the top. Got to be smarter about when you pick your spots. Ane will go to the bench.
That little side headlock working on Matt Freeman. That would make John Smith and Lou Roselli proud to see a little wrestling out here. Brady Manick rims that one in. You talk about Brady Manick, almost got lost in the shuffle how great a freshman year he had because Trey Young was so good a season ago.
Yeah, he really did. And 10 points, 5 boards last season. He's got a high IQ. He's that stretch 4 that we have in college basketball now, a pick and pop guy, great at trail threes and transition. And I think what you're seeing over the last about 5 games is consistency in all areas of his game, both offensively and defensively.
McGriff off the mark for the second time from 3-point range. Oklahoma trying to push the tempo. Bieniemy speeds the other way. Close out on Freeman. Reynolds and McGriff now. Oklahoma State defending well. Freeman for 3. A little strong into the hands of Bieniemy. Manick up and under. No. Tipped the rebound out of bounds, and they say McGriff touched it last. Good effort by Brady Manick.
Yeah, relentless right there. And Manick did a really good thing off the miss. Flash to the ball in that short corner. Oklahoma quickly gets it to him. There's the miss, and just active. And you talked about 20 pounds of muscle, and he can absorb much more contact there in the interior. And still has improvement and growth in terms of his body to make.
Jamoni McNeese is in, been battling injury. A little more healthy in practice last couple of days. McGriff interfered with that one. It'll be offensive basket interference against the Cowboys.
Well, Mike Weathers for Oklahoma State, this is the best thing that he does. When he gets an angle, he can get to the rim. And let's see if McGriff goaltends. I think he does. Even though the ball was coming off, it was still in the cylinder area. Good call by the officials.
Matt Freeman, no. Bieniemy gives it a whirl. Both teams cold from 3-point range. Odom's trying to save that down on the baseline. Oklahoma State 1 of 6. Should say 0 for 6. Yeah, the Sooners 1 of 7 from 3-point range.
And Oklahoma State has dodged some bullets. Oklahoma has had some looks inside that they've missed. They're really doing a great job of attacking the offensive glass. And right there, it was only Kalu and McGriff trying to rebound. Guys like Michael Weathers and Kazagwa, they've got to drop back in as defensive guards and help Oklahoma State rebound because they are not a big physical team.
Weathers is held. Matt Freeman picks up his first personal.
Mike Weathers, a lot of positives in his game against Iowa State on Wednesday night. Took care of the basketball much better than he has in the past.
Desagua nails one from the corner. He made 5 in a game in the Bedlam series last year. First made 3.
46% on the year. Terrific catch and shoot guy. As long as he stays within himself and doesn't try to do too much.
Odoms, that's 8 straight misses for the Sooners. And Desagua trying to get Freeman off his feet. Weathers not necessarily a three-point shooter. That's his game. And a blocking foul. 3-point opportunity for Michael Weathers. 13-9, and the Cowboys can get within 3 after this break.
1 turnover in 22 minutes against Iowa State on Wednesday night, and that's tremendous progress for a guy like Weathers.
So the Cowboys have scored 6 straight. Oklahoma is working on a 3-minute field goal drought. They've missed their last 8 from the floor. Reynolds tries to change it with that floater. Did not get the foul call, which is news. He is terrific at drawing fouls. Weathers on the attack again. The finger roll with an unfriendly roll.
A rare time where Oklahoma did not pick up the ball higher up on the floor in transition. And fortunately for the Sooners, Weathers missed the bunny right there.
A lot of threes for the Sooners there now. 1 of 9. That one nearly landed softly in the goal out of the hands of Maurice Kalou. This is Curtis Jones, and a big 3 out of the corner ties it at 13.
You know, Oklahoma State has shifted the momentum a little bit, been better defensively on this end, and then the ball moved better offensively. They've been more active and assertive.
9-0 Oklahoma State run to tie this game. Christian Doolittle back in there, slashes, draws a little contact, and a rebound taken by Kalou. Curtis Jones made that 3 a moment ago, a shot he can knock down. Oklahoma State going to be patient. Michael Weathers with 10 to shoot, operates against Doolittle. McGriff, a 2 out of the deep corner, is an air ball. There's Jamoni McNeese, collects his first rebound.
And that right there was terrific defense by Christian Doolittle. He is Oklahoma's best defender, most versatile defender, size, quick feet. Played for an excellent high school coach, Shane Coward, at Edmond Memorial, who was a defense first, and that allowed him to have the tutelage early on here at Oklahoma to understand defense.
Doolittle muscles his way back up and draws a foul against McGriff. So Christian Doolittle goes to the foul line here.
And I love what Doolittle is doing over the last handful of games. As we mentioned, a defensive first guy, and I have asked Coach Kruger before, in terms of offensively, why is he more aggressive? Has Christian not looked in the mirror at this 6'7", 225? He's talented. He's so unselfish. He wants to do everything right. Almost has been afraid to make mistakes, but he's getting past that, being assertive and attacking. And you get him going offensively, I think that elevates Oklahoma even more.
Celebrate Hispanic Heritage with Oklahoma women's basketball as they take on Kansas February 13th and the men against West Virginia March 2nd. And this spring, celebrate with us the first weekend of May when Texas Tech comes to Norman. Visit Soonersports.com for future Hispanic Heritage celebrations for Oklahoma athletics. 1-point Sooner lead. That broke a 9-0 Oklahoma State run. Kalou misfires, and there's Christian James. Christian James. He's got 5 double-doubles in his last 6 games. Transition the other way for Curtis Jones, and Kalou dunks it home. The Cowboys lead for the first time.
And good follow right there as Jones missed the flush. But that's what you want your bigs to do. Assume a miss, continue to trail the basketball and follow up.
Manick gets an A off his feet, and Brady will shoot a pair here.
Here's the turnover for Oklahoma State, the aftermath. Jones does exactly what you need to get to the rim. Good challenge by Doolittle right here. But you see Kalou following the play and gets the flush.
Manick cashes in the first free throw attempt. Sooners 8 of 11 at the foul line.
And I tell you what, you saw the craftiness of Manick right there, understanding he has a shot blocker on him. Yorane, as a freshman, one of the leading shot blockers in the Big 12 Conference, in foul trouble. Good up fake, and once he left the floor, that's when Manick knew to attack. It's an intelligent play from the sophomore.
Foul line kind to the Sooners today. 9 points at the line, 7 from the field. Kalu strong with that one. And a foul underneath. Well, Dylan DeMuth is back in. Duncan DeMuth is back in for Oklahoma State.
Last couple possessions in the half court. You know, Oklahoma State has let the ball stick. And Oklahoma so good on the ball, defending at all spots. You have to get some movement and get them to shift. And that's the only way you can get the necessary gaps to drive them.
Calixte hangs right with Weathers. Jones pulls the trigger from 3. And a battle for the rebound. McGriff and Reynolds get into it. And McGriff just trying to grab the ball and walk away. And now McGriff trying to get his teammates out of the scrum.
Well, this is a guy with a high motor, and you're going to see McGriff try to run it down on this right side along with Reynolds. Just a tough play right there. And they'll go take a look at it. Well, they've got something.
What do they have?
So they called the common foul on Cam McGriff, 12 for Oklahoma State. And then they're going to call a dead ball technical foul on Miles Reynolds, number 3.
Okay.
As they came into the aftermath. I guess they felt like he put his hands on an Oklahoma State player. So what they'll do first is they're going to shoot the common foul with Miles Reynolds.
Well, this is a double bonus situation. That is 10 team fouls against Oklahoma State. So Reynolds will shoot 2. And then you'll have the dead ball contact technical shot by whoever Mike Boynton chooses. Well, let's mark this down. 8:19 left first half, and the score. You never know what kind of momentum switches we might have after a situation like this.
Yeah, and again, you know, Miles Reynolds comes over and is talking to Keith Kimball, the lead official. You know, he's asking, what did I do? And I mean, I didn't see anything. I thought it was an aggressive play by both guys. There was a little bit of a scuffle. Nothing. Everybody showed maturity, walked away. It wasn't a big deal.
And it's Oklahoma State basketball. Out of all of that, it results in 2 Miles Reynolds free throws and 1 for Cameron McGriff.
And I told you, the last couple of years, I've been wrong a lot on those replays with officials going to the monitor.
Sooners have numbers 2-on-1. Calixte feeds Reynolds, and DeZagua fouls him. A pair of free throws for Miles Reynolds, who is as good as anybody in the Big 12 at getting himself to the free throw line.
He got to the line 6 times a game while a junior last year at Pacific. But, you know, you and I have seen Oklahoma a lot this year. What we wondered was, could it translate at the Power 5 level? More physical, stronger perimeter players. Officiating allows you to play a little more physical. It's just harder to turn the corner when you have the kind of athletes at Power 5 Conference. But he is adjusted, gets there 6 times a game. And like we said earlier, it's a terrific dynamic for Oklahoma when you've got shooters and guys that can go make plays. And then here you mix in somebody that sees a seam, puts his head down, and has the ability to draw contact.
And that's 2 fouls on DeZagua. He becomes the 4th Cowboy with at least 2 fouls. And a reach in there against Miles Reynolds. We had to break.
Conversation about how good was the Big 12 South back then. You had Bobby Knight at Tech. Of course, Coach Sampson, Coach Sutton here in Oklahoma. You had Rick Barnes and all those big-time talented teams at Texas. The latter part of that, remember Billy Clyde Gillespie at Texas A&M reviving that program, while Kansas in the north is playing each of those teams once a year. and playing Colorado and Nebraska 4 times. Those were great, great days. It'd be wonderful to get it back to that, both in Stillwater and Norman again.
4 attempts and finally a Christian James field goal for the Sooners. That's their first field goal in over 7 minutes.
And Michael Weathers getting to the rim, but once again missing a bunny. And late in the game against Iowa State, Weathers missed 2 close ones. One time would have cut it to a 2-possession game. One of those would have been a 1-possession game where he's gotten to the rim and has been unable to finish. And as Mike Boynton told you and I before this game, you only get a few of those during a game, period, in a Big 12 conference.
He said their shot tracker had him 8 for 24 on layups against Iowa State. And as you said, he had a smile on his face, but he wasn't wearing one on Wednesday night. As McGriff misses, Christian James hesitates. Sooners 1 of 15 field goal drought. Still they lead by 3. And that's off of Manick out of bounds. Oklahoma has continued to lead this game because they've gotten to the foul line. 12 out of 16 from there.
And Oklahoma 1 of 10 from 3. Oklahoma State now 2 of 11 from 3-point range. And I think the difference between the two is Oklahoma's shown the ability to win games when they don't shoot well. Oklahoma State's young team, not as much.
Over the top, Kalu able to get free inside. They may need his offense today.
Mike Boynton is really trying to find him minutes. And a guy that's really talented, still has a lot to learn, particularly on the defensive end. He said he's going to try to get him a lot of run today. And with Oklahoma State's foul trouble, he's definitely going to get that chance.
Soft Christian Doolittle.
Yeah, I love that right there. And what you're seeing from Doolittle is away from the ball when there's penetration, he is flashing to gaps or places open like he did right there.
Wiggling free, Weathers can't land it. Doolittle has a rebound and a foul. So Christian Doolittle's going to go to the free throw line. Let's talk a little bit more about him, because this is a guy who had a great freshman year. Last year struggled with injury and had not had a double-digit scoring game since his freshman year of 2 years ago. But the last 3 games, 13 points, 7 rebounds a game, and he's shooting 51% from the field. What's clicked for him over the last 3 games for the Sooners?
I just think that he's decided that it's okay to go make plays. You know, Lon Kruger has always encouraged him to be assertive. He's talented. He's about doing the right thing, so you trust him. And Oklahoma would, like to be able to say, hey, Christian, that's not a good shot, versus you need to look to score more. And sometimes it takes guys a while, but he is certainly talented and has the ability to produce like that every night. If you're Weathers, you get 1 to go and you get that confidence back to finish.
So out of the timeout, remember, significant foul trouble for Oklahoma State, including 3 for Lindy Waters, and there's the enemy picking up a cheap one, trying to cut off Weathers. That's 9 fouls against the Sooners, so the 1-and-1 here for Weathers.
Those drive you nuts as a coach. You foul a guy 35 feet from the basket. Weathers not going to hurt you out there. And let's say that the enemy doesn't foul. With the way that Weathers utilized that first step and get around you, he gets around you that high up the floor, then all of a sudden you have 5-on-4. And with a little bit of ball movement, Oklahoma State then has an easy look.
So Weathers got them both. We have a 3-point game. Oklahoma State hanging around despite their second leading scorer in Lindy Waters with no points and on the bench with 3 fouls.
From Oklahoma, I try to get James more involved. He's going to get himself involved right here.
You asked, didn't get it. But James came away with that rebound. How do you account for the increase in rebounds? Hadn't had a double-double in his career coming into the season. Now he's got 5 double-doubles in 6 games.
Want to, that experience, the desire. I think Jamuni McNeese being out with an injury, who was really playing well prior to that. You know, other guys have to step up. You know, he's got a big physical body too. And he's a guy that can absorb contact and work his way in there. The other thing is, on the offensive end, it's very hard to be disciplined as a guard defensively and block a guy out on the perimeter. And when you have a strong Christian James attacking the rim, he's got space to go make a play.
Shot clock down to 12. We approach 5 minutes remaining in the opening half. Weathers attacks, drew some contact from Doolittle, and Christian James has another rebound, his 7th.
Well, good job of Doolittle going straight up and down and walling up. That's a legal guarding play right there.
Enemy finds James, and a traveling violation against the enemy. 5 Sooner turnovers in the opening half. Oklahoma State has committed only 2, and that's helped them stay in this. Kalu is back in for Oklahoma State, and Rashard Odoms replaces the enemy in Lon Kruger's lineup.
And right here, I look at this game. 4:44 left. Oklahoma State's got to continue to hang tough. They've had foul trouble, missed a lot of easy ones, yet they're still down 3. If I'm Oklahoma and I can string some stops together, maybe give myself an opportunity to run in transition, you could bust this open and get the crowd into it going into halftime. Very huge for momentum for both teams as you close out this half.
Jones throws that one off Doolittle. 8 seconds to shoot for the Cowboys.
Plenty of time right here. Oklahoma, they're going to be solid. They won't make a defensive mistake. I say that.
And the dunk rims in for Maurice Kalu. James for 3. No. Here comes Weathers. Approaching 4 minutes left, opening half. Manick pokes that out of bounds. Maurice Kalu, 6 points off the bench for Oklahoma State today.
Yeah, and he hasn't been shy when he's been in games of taking shots. He struggled from the perimeter. But once he got that bunny to go earlier, you could see the confidence in the young freshman. Now watch this play right here. He slips the screen. Oklahoma switches a lot. And that's a smart play by Kalu, because you have Manick on the high side, a little miscommunication from Oklahoma. And Kalu does the right thing and goes right back towards the basketball. And underneath out of bounds plays, you want to work inside out defensively and not give up an easy one to the rim. And that's a rare defensive mistake for the Sooners.
Bench scoring heavily in favor. Buoyed by Kalu. 14-0 bench points in favor of Oklahoma State today. And Doolittle is called for getting a forearm into Kalu. On the right is their net ranking. This is the new way the NCAA is determining strength of schedule and where you rate. It replaces the old RPI, and it's heavily weighted in your wins in Quadrant 1 and Quadrant 2. And the Big 12, as always, very representative.
Deep, solid, 1 through 10, and basically 5 teams in the top 30. 7 basically in the top 50. And it's interesting, look at Oklahoma State. They're 6 and 7, yet because of the schedule that they've played, and in many of those, it hasn't been pretty, but they've hung tough. They're at 75. So that's the beauty of the Big 12 Conference, and it has been for several years now. That's why teams in this league at, say, 8 and 10 conference record get into the tournament, because you're playing the best people every night. There are no dogs, and I think that net ranking is proving so far to show that.
And both these teams played very difficult non-conference schedules. You talked about Oklahoma State's. The Sooners' schedule is rated number 2 by that very same metric we just spoke about. Oklahoma played 10 of 13 games away from the Lloyd Noble Center to start the season. Talking about wins over Florida, beat Notre Dame at Madison Square Garden, beat USC in Tulsa, Wichita State, and a big overtime win over Northwestern as well on the road.
Well, that's the point, right? To get ready for this. what comes at the beginning of January. And I think you're seeing most of the Big 12 doing that now, bolstering their strength of schedule. Best way to do it is go away from being comfortable at home and playing quality people.
Jessica was over there listening in on that last huddle. Don't think Lon Kruger liked that last foul call, and here comes another one. Jess, what'd you find out?
Yeah, Lon Kruger spent a good chunk of that timeout trying to get an explanation, disagreeing with that foul call on Christian Doolittle down here on the defensive end, saying that you can have the arm, the defender can have the arm on the offensive player, and so the referee explained you just can't extend it. So even still just was not happy with that foul call, saying that that's everything that we teach our guys is playing down here on defense, but again stressing the defensive effort down here to close out this stretch.
Yeah, it's Jessica's right. It's an arm bar and not laying your hand on the hip, and you know, it didn't look like much to me either, but they've been consistent at both ends of the floor, and really ultimately, if you're Mike Boynton and Lon Kruger, that's what you want, and then the players have to adjust to that.
Doolittle chases that down, but throws it toward Rashard Odoms, and he converts. Nothing has been easy, and then McGriff steps over the baseline, throwing the ball in, and turns it over.
Well, here's the turnover, and McGriff made a great effort, but if you can't get to it and throw it down to the offensive end of the floor, you probably want to eat it, because what happens is what Odoms did right there. You have a straight line drive to the rim, and then the exchange between he and Weathers once again careless with the basketball.
Jimani McNeese back in. Calixte a kick out three, and it's good.
You know, not having Jimani McNeese in the lineup, I think, mostly affects your defense, but it also affects the offensive end, because he's become good enough and a threat enough. If he gets a touch inside, it draws attention, and they get that touch, and Calixte was open on the weak side.
Desagua counters with a bank shot the other way. Not something we see a whole lot of from the three-point specialist.
Oklahoma's got to be patient here on the offensive end. They've been impatient.
That patient enough right there, Rashard Odoms?
Well, you don't have to be patient when you have a poor closeout on the first pass of the set. And Odoms did the right thing, obviously, but they have gotten impatient, and I think that's allowed Oklahoma State to control the tempo a little bit.
Desagua catches that ball, but out of bounds. Fifth turnover against Oklahoma State.
And this is what I was talking about, that final 4+ minutes. You know, can Oklahoma put a couple punches in on the Cowboys and send a young, inexperienced team who has really hung well in with a little lack of confidence?
McNeese fouled as he was wide open, and Kalu had to hack him.
And Oklahoma State in zone right now. Part of that because of personnel in the game. Part of that because of foul trouble. But more communication. Jimani McNeese is a pretty big body. It's tough to lose him if you're not paying attention.
So Jimani McNeese missed a couple of games with an ankle injury, came back for USC, but the last 4 games he's only averaging about 10 minutes a game. Jessica, he has looked better though in practice, especially the last 2 days.
Yeah, he's back to full speed in practice. Jimani said as far as the injury goes, the soreness, he's back to 100%. Where he's not quite that is his bounce, getting off that right foot. He's right-handed, but he jumps off that same right foot. We've seen how high he can get up to the rim, so it's getting that back as well as getting back into game shape, which continues to get better with each and every day.
Calixte picks up the foul there.
Well, here's the deal. Again, going back to consistency with what they fit. This is a good veteran officiating crew. They've been consistent. And if you put your hands on a guy 55 feet from the basket, I mean, they're going to make that call. Now, if you are in better position, if you're out there in your Calixte, Chad, and you're just trying to turn him a couple times, big drop step, turn him, and you got your hands on him when you're doing that, they'll lay off. But if he's literally able to turn the corner with ease, and as he goes by, you're riding him, I mean, that's the way they've been calling it all afternoon.
31 free throws shot combined today. Weathers makes 1 of 2. And with 2 minutes left in the half, it's a 5-point Sooner lead.
Again, Oklahoma, I think if just be patient. good, crisp ball movement. Had a really good practice yesterday. Saw a lot of that.
James lines up another three.
Well, Lon Kruger talked about Christian James and his development offensively, the steps he has made. As he's not thinking anymore. He's just catching and shooting or catching and driving.
Odoms reaches in and commits his third personal, and may have been a collision of heads on that reach-in foul.
And as Odoms gets up, here's the ball reversal from Odoms. And McGriff has got to anticipate that, come up the floor and show until DeZagua can get over. But a quick catch and shoot in rhythm from Christian James. And then this is a reach right here. I mean, there's no question. And you see them connect heads. And hopefully Odoms, who got the worst of that right there, is okay.
Is that the Oklahoma drill?
or the Mr. Iba drill. There was one similar that Mr. Iba had. That was promoting physical, aggressive play as well.
So Weathers to the foul line after Odom's third foul. Lindy Waters has 3 for the Cowboys. He's been on the bench for about 15 minutes as Lindy Waters and hasn't scored.
I think Mike Boynton's got a decision right now to make. I mean, he's gone zone. You understand the need for that, but it's been bad. It hadn't taken much ball movement for Oklahoma to get good looks. We've got shooters all over the floor, as I've mentioned. Move the ball well. But you don't have the athleticism in the game, maybe to cover all 5 spots. So let's see what he does on this possession.
Good afternoon for Weathers. He leads the Cowboys with 8 points. He's made 6 of 7 from the foul line. 6-point Sooner lead. Calixte lines up another. That might have been partially blocked by Weathers, and it's out of bounds. It'll stay on this end.
Well, Weathers made a great recovery. But again, that's a wide open look after simple ball reversal against Oklahoma State's zone.
DeZagua picks off the inbounds pass. He has 2-on-1 with Jones. Great ball fake, and DeZagua lays it in.
Well, heads up play, a big play by DeZagua. Oklahoma right there, just sloppy on the underneath out of bounds play.
Minute remaining in the post. McNeese kick out 3. Manick out of the corner, strong.
An opportunity right here for Mike Boynton to get a 2-for-1 with the game clock and the shot clock being where it is.
DeZagua launches in and out. McGriff got a piece of it. Chased down by Jones. Jones attacks, runs into Manick. Offensive foul. Brady Manick takes the charge.
Foul called against Curtis Jones in Oklahoma State. His first foul.
Now watch this right here. Off the rebound. Manick, a great job. You see he's well outside the restricted arc area. Tell you what, so many guys today can't come set when the help comes over. Protector that Oklahoma has right now, so it makes it easier to get to the rim.
8 seconds difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Calixte played by Curtis Jones. Calixte 1 of 3 from the field in the opening half. 4 points. He's going to let it trail on down to about 5 seconds. Calixte bumps into Jones, and he'll go to the foul line.
Boy, nice job of Calixte right there, because the patience that he used, and what you see a lot of times, it's not the first or second kind of jab to the basket. It's the third or fourth, and this is the third or fourth. And a defender will relax after that first move. I got you. Second move, I got you. And then you relax. And Calixte, good job of just drawing the contact from a guy that very rarely from the point guard position gets to the line. I don't think he's been to the free throw line in about 5 games.
He has not been much. That's only his 19th attempt of the year.
Yeah.
Oklahoma has made 16 free throws in the first half. That's more than they had made in their previous 2 games combined.
So plenty of time right here for Oklahoma State to get a good look. Push, space the floor. And they'll probably do that with Weathers.
Foul trouble is going to be a significant factor, you would think, in the second half. Oklahoma State has 5 players with at least 2 fouls. Oklahoma has 3 with at least 2 fouls. Weathers and the Cowboys with the final look. DeZagua heaves it up at the horn, no good. A physical first half at the Lloyd Noble Center. Weathers talking with referee Paul Jansen, thought there was a foul on that last play. It's a 6-point Sooner lead at the break.
Still able to hang around. And I know it's cliche-ish, but when you are the younger, more inexperienced team, and right now less talented team, you have to play well this first 5 or 6 minutes.
Sooners get the first touch. Christian James had 8 points and 8 rebounds in the first half. He's on the attack, and an A has just picked up his 3rd foul.
And Oklahoma right there. That's Lon Kruger and his ability and intellect to find matchups. And part of that has to do with his NBA coaching career. But you get the ball to Christian James near the block, just outside the block, with Michael Weathers on him. And then James, again, we talked about him offensively. No hesitation. Either shoot it, catch and shoot, or attack. And he did right there.
So coming out of the halftime locker room, Jessica was able to catch up with Oklahoma assistant coach Carlin Hartman and get his thoughts.
Well, Coach Cam McGriff, obviously a go-to guy for them. You guys have limited him to just 5 points, 3 boards. What's been the key to that defensively, both on the glass and scoring?
Big key for us, obviously this year for our guys is just, taking away the opposing team's top 2 scorers. And so far we've done a pretty good job on McGriff and Waters. But they're experienced players. We know they're going to come out ready to go in the second half.
Threes haven't fallen quite as much as you guys would like to, but you're getting to the foul line. How much do you feel like you can continue to exploit the foul trouble?
Well, I mean, I think one of the strengths of our team is our ability to drive the basketball, drive, kick, play off of each other. And, we've been doing a good job of that all year. Threes will eventually fall, and our guys will know the right times, when to drive and kick, and we'll start knocking them down.
Finally, Coach, 27 fouls between the 2 teams, calling it a little tight. How does that affect the game plan or change the game plan, if any?
That slowed the first half down quite a bit, so hopefully we get a little bit more of a flow. Both teams probably want to get a little bit more of a flow, so we got to do a better job of not fouling out front when we're guarding the basketball, keep our hands back, slide our feet, and I think we'll do that right now.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Thank you.
Chad?
All right, thank you, Jessica, and thanks to Coach Carlin Hartman. Brady Manick's first 3 of the game has given Oklahoma its largest lead at 10 coming out of the halftime locker room.
And Lindy Waters will check back in. I think Mike Boynton went into this half hoping to buy a little more time with those 3 fouls in Waters. And he's got to give them solid defensive minutes, but he's got to defend without fouling. He is as important a guy, most versatile guy for Oklahoma State offensively.
Big 3 from Thomas DeZagua, his 2nd of the day.
One of the things that I think helps DeZagua as well with the spacing and not running the spread motion as much is you can get him off down screens coming up the floor. Good job right there of DeZagua in space setting his feet.
Weathers inside, and Nay, he will go to the foul line.
See Weathers right there. I think Mike Boynton is seeing him mature a little bit. Good drive. Doolittle, again, good defense right there. But that weak side guard for Oklahoma's got to recognize that and drop inside an A. They're late, and thus he gets to the foul line.
So Reynolds joins Rashard Odoms as Sooners with 3 fouls. You're an A to the foul line. Deft touch from the left-hander. He is missing the middle and index fingers on his right hand. Amazing story.
Yeah, amazing. Happened as a young child. Unfortunately, had to do with the blender. Loses those 2 fingers, but it shows you what you can do. I mean, he says that's all I've ever known. Does a great job. He handled passes in traffic. And going to be a really good player. A lot of upside with the Navy for Oklahoma State.
Bodies diving in. Manick 3 out of the corner. Bounds to the floor, and A picks it away. Here comes Weathers. Weathers a step around, handoff, and it's slammed down by McGriff.
Boy, Weathers, terrific downhill right there. Did the right thing. That's a tough spot for Calixte to be back alone, basically on a 2-on-1 break. And Weathers sets McGriff up.
7-0 run. Once a 10-point Sooner lead. Manick tried to wiggle for some room on the baseline, and McGriff fouled him. That'll be 3 on McGriff. And he's the third Cowboy with 3, joining Waters and an A.
So you have right now Oklahoma State's 2 most experienced, productive, consistent players right now, in McGriff and Waters, with those 3 fouls.
15 to shoot here for the Sooners. Doolittle to Calixte for 3. And McGriff bounces high, grabs that rebound, his 4th.
Oklahoma State going zone right there to protect those 2 guys with 3.
Zagwa stripped by James. Christian James splits 2 defenders. McGriff went high and impacted it. Manick follows it up and in.
Well, there's a product of 1+ years in the weight room for Manick. There's a bump. Waters should have picked up his 4th right there, but Manick fights through the contact and still finishes.
Weathers can't answer. Doolittle rips it away. Now Reynolds slashes, runs right through McGriff. Offensive foul. And that's 4 on Reynolds. Somebody was going to pick up number 4 on this collision.
Hey, this is what you like about Reynolds. I mean, you think there's any hesitation? Boom. Catch, drive. And Cam McGriff leads Oklahoma State in taking charges with 13. Now watch this. Boom. Waters right there. You know, officials did him a favor at Oklahoma State. Not calling that, but Manick didn't throw him off course. And as we said earlier, he's got a chance to continue to progress as a player, not only experience-wise, but physically. Just a sophomore.
How about a friendly wager between ourselves and Jessica? Who will be the first player to foul out today? I think I picked up 3 during halftime. There goes Weathers, wiped away by Doolittle, and off of Weathers, out of bounds.
Well, Cameron or Christian Doolittle, watch this. Gives ground, goes straight up. Doesn't initiate the contact. Smart to understand he has the size and strength advantage right there. Just an excellent defender for Oklahoma.
Huge reason why Oklahoma has not missed Jimani McNeese all that much. Trying to chase it down over in the corner is Kalu, but he couldn't corral it. And we reach our first stoppage of half number 2. Oklahoma got out to a 10-point lead. Cameron,
You think, well, that's a tough stretch, but
they're all tough.
Exactly. Yeah, again, no dogs in this league. The bottom of the league, very strong. No gimmies.
At Freeman, no. And into the arms of Curtis Jones. Cowboys can cut it to 3, perhaps 2 with a made 3.
Freeman a good shooter, but I don't love that coming off the bench right in the game and taking a long one.
Huge time for Lindy Waters' first basket of the game. He's been in foul trouble.
Waters a 39% career 3-point shooter. Always takes good looks. They need him to be more aggressive and look for that spot up 3 more often.
Doolittle backs down McGriff, who's battling foul trouble. That was tipped out by Matt Freeman. Doolittle again.
And I like it. It's a good matchup inside 2 physical players, but with McGriff having 3, he can't force the issue. Doolittle doesn't get the first one to go. Oklahoma gets the offensive rebound, and they go right back to it.
James closes out on Waters this time. McGriff a 3. And that went over the top of the backboard, out of bounds. It'll be Sooner basketball. So here's Cameron McGriff battling foul trouble now, just 2 of 7 from the field. Hasn't made a 3 this afternoon.
Oklahoma State still in zone, protecting both Waters and McGriff with those 3 fouls.
Reynolds on the bench for the Sooners. He has 4. Shot clock is at 10. Doolittle. Now Rashard Odoms. Kick out for Freeman. Lets a flyby go past him and buries the 3. so many pieces that Lon Kruger has, and Matt Freeman is one.
Yeah, and he also has benefited with more minutes with the injury to Jimani McNeese. He's more comfortable. He's a true pick and pop guy.
Jones can't answer, and McGriff can't track down the rebound.
Oklahoma State has to make threes, particularly on the road, to win games this season. And you see a couple marginal ones from McGriff and then Curtis Jones the last couple possessions. They've got to go back again to ball movement. They've had most success with Weathers driving it. Now, he hasn't finished in there, but you can't abandon that. You got to look to draw help and make those threes more comfortable.
Odoms up and over an A.
And that's a design play. You get the hard drive to the left, and that is for a reason, because Odoms flashes from the weak side, and he can catch in rhythm and use his dominant hand to continue to flow to the rim.
7-0 run put on by the Sooners, who have made 3 straight field goals to lead by 9 at the Lloyd Noble Center.
10-11, and sometimes that causes in games where they should run somebody out of the gym for them to hang around a little longer. But what he's doing is he's developing them over time to protect against injuries and such.
And they dunks off a great feed from Lindy Waters.
That's what Waters brings. You know, the shooting ability, the understanding of the offense, seeing things happen before they actually occur, and a nice little two-man play between he and Yorane.
Doolittle at the high post, looking around. James triggers. A little short. Odoms. Quite a seal out on McGriff down there. Now trapped. And it's out of bounds. They say Odoms touched it last.
Oklahoma State in this zone, it's difficult to block off. And Oklahoma seems to, on misses on their offensive end, be able to get hands to it. And there's Odoms just out hustling Oklahoma State. Now we'll be able to see from this angle. Tough to tell if that went off Odoms' left foot or leg or not.
7-point advantage for the Sooners as Waters making a big difference coming off the bench after foul trouble in the first half.
And that's a really good move, because we've already bragged about how good a defender at his size Christian Doolittle is. Good defense, just an excellent offensive play from Waters.
Back down to a 5-point game after the Sooners had extended it to 9 just moments ago. Shot clock at 8. James, this is a 2, and it's an air ball. The crowd got on him after a couple of those up at Allen Field. Oklahoma, a much improved team defensively. You ask Lon Kruger, he says it's dedication. As you said, they worked harder during the offseason than they ever have since he's gotten to Oklahoma. And Brendan, these numbers tell a huge story for this team.
And field goal percentage defense, 3-point field goal percentage defense, those are more important stats than, say, what you give up in terms of points per game, because tempo can affect that. There's been a lot of bad teams.
Kansas shot 4 of 21 from 3-point range the other night in Allen Fieldhouse against Oklahoma. That's Kansas's worst 3-point shooting night at home in over 20 years. Lindy Waters has made a difference here in the second half. He launches a 2 and rinses home another one.
You know, this is a big game to Lindy Waters. We talked about the importance when you're from the state, understanding and having a better feel for the rivalry. And then with Waters, you throw out that he is from Norman. And so a lot of familiarity with this Oklahoma program in other ways, too.
And Jessica has more on the Norman native, Lindy Waters. Yes?
Yeah, he said, you know, they say that you're supposed to hate OU if you go to OSU, but he said, I actually love playing Oklahoma. I love coming back here, coming back home, getting to play out and show out in front of my hometown crowd. But, you know, he said, obviously very familiar with with this building. He came to high school team camps here, but not only that, he grew up coming to powwows with his dad. He's very proud of his Native American heritage, and he says, you know, OU has a lot of Native American fan base, and so they always show such great support for me. So feels like home for him coming back here to the Lloyd Noble Center, even wearing orange.
You know, and Oklahoma State fans might not want to hear this, but I can back that up. He was around a group of 5th and 6th graders in an Oklahoma State game recently, and a couple of the boys were Oklahoma fans. And some of those teammates who were Oklahoma State fans were jabbing him. And Lindy Waters says, "Don't hate." I don't hate. He goes, "I'm from Norman." So I respect and appreciate our rivalry. So that's a true statement that Jessica said about Lindy Waters.
And he has his team on an 8-0 run. Doolittle may have grazed that three-point try by DeZagua, and Ane touched it last. So how has Oklahoma State gotten back in this? They were down 9 just moments ago.
Well, Waters, the offensive punch, the confidence that he has provided Oklahoma State here in the second half. And then until that contested three by DeZagua in transition, they've been getting things moving towards the rim.
Doolittle somehow wormed that one up there. He'll shoot a pair. That's 4 on Ane.
Well, Oklahoma State's zone has been much better with Ane sitting back, protecting the rim. But I really like what Oklahoma has done with Doolittle. They continue to make that easy pass that's available to Doolittle at the heart of the defense. And then right there, that's a junior understanding. You got a guy that's made an impact on the defensive end in the second half. He's got 3 fouls. Let me see if I can get him his 4th. Those type of plays, those are veteran moves and things that only guys that have experience can understand during the game.
12 points and 5 rebounds for Doolittle today. Shuffling of lineups. Jimani McNeese is set to return and will now for Oklahoma after the 2 free throws made by Doolittle, who gets a much-deserved breather. Well, what a huge impact he has made the last 4 games for Lon Kruger's team. 3-point Sooner lead. Waters and James battling away. This 3 by McGriff is too strong, into the arms of McNeese.
Waters has made some tough shots, but I don't think Mike Boynton can put it in his hands against a Christian James and basically space and tell him to go make a play. It's not necessarily his game. It's got to come after some ball movement.
Baseline Manick. No. That's bobbled off a couple of hands, and I think McGriff touched that last.
You know, Oklahoma State, a better job right there of sealing off, but then you've got to go get the basketball. And this is another time, watch Odoms. He's in there, active, doesn't give up on the play. We've seen that multiple times from him here in this basketball game.
Manick misses off the inbounds play. Duncan DeMuth back in, setting a screen for Weathers here. McNeese pops that one into the air, and as Odoms grabs it, he is fouled by Michael Weathers. That's only 2 on Weathers. He's one of the few who's played a bunch and avoided foul trouble.
Yeah, against Oklahoma, too good defensively to attack with no movement. And as Weathers tries to take James off the bounce initially, goes right into the help, and then you pick up your dribble and you have nowhere to go. You know, Oklahoma, we just talked about, very sound defensive team.
McNeese and a blocking foul on Lindy Waters. That'll be his 4th.
And that's big right here in terms for the Sooners. Get an A with 4, goes to the bench, and that's Waters for us. Let's take a look, see if he's still moving. And what happened right there, the reason Waters doesn't get that, he's not squared up to take the charge basically from the chest. McNeese, that's a big body, but he did a good job.
Easy for us to say over here.
Yeah, but he moved to the left just slightly. So Waters wasn't able to take it in terms of a situation where the officials felt like he would get the charge, but they had to call something.
Sooners push Weathers all the way out to the half-court line, leaving Waters open. He can't make them pay. Kalu saves it, but Bienavi picks it away. Manick stops and pops and is fouled. And looks like Desagua will get the whistle here. That's 3 on him. So Brady Manick to the foul line with the Sooners on top by 3. Desagua still can't believe about that whistle. Manick has not shot the ball as well this year as we take a look again at the foul call.
Well, not much there, but in a wide open area, you hit a shooter on his right elbow, right in front of the official.
Spoken like a shooter.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to not call it. And Zagwood did a nice job trying to contest over the taller Manick. But it's right there for the official to see.
Lon Kruger talking to us earlier about Manick. Has not necessarily shot it as well. As Desagua buries a 3 from the right wing. We've got a 1-point game again.
Yeah, quick release from Desagua. Doesn't need much space.
There goes James. Stripped. Desagua stepped on the baseline.
You see James right now feeling like he can take his strength advantage to Michael Weathers.
.20 to shoot for the Sooners off the inbound. 8:30 left in the second half. Manick. Reynolds back in now with his 4 fouls. McNeese has a height advantage. I don't know if he realizes it. The enemy's 3 is good.
Boy, nice job of Reynolds right there. Didn't over pursue against the zone. Just got to the heart of the defense. Nice drive and kick to the enemy.
The enemy's first field goal. How about that? Triggers in a 1-point game. Weathers lost that going up. The enemy full head of steam. James got stripped by Desagua. Now it's McNeese circling around and fouled by Kalu.
I was too lazy to do that, Jessica. I'll tell you, Trevor, he was smart to say, yeah, I'll rebound for Thomas Desagua because you're taking it out of the net.
Yeah.
And kicking it back out.
He may be a member of the accounting department as well, counting to 25,961.
Yeah.
I can't even count that high. Kalu trying to skip through a double team. Last touch by a Sooner with 17 on the shot clock.
And you might ask, why would an already established tremendous shooter make 26,000 more? And that's because that's his thing. That's the only reason that he is playing at this level, because he can shoot it lights out. And so I'm just making a strength even stronger.
And Desagua comes out to get it. Screen from Kalu, trying to work his way around, feeds Kalu, and James had no choice but to foul Maurice Kalu, who shoots a pair.
The center foul is called by Christian James.
Thomas Desagua able to turn the corner just enough, and slow rotation over from Oklahoma, and Christian James forced to make the hard foul right there on Kalu.
Kalu to the line.
So to the foul line goes Maurice Kalu, who's had a nice afternoon off the bench. Big advantage off the bench for Mike Boynton and the Cowboys today as Kalu misses that one. Walden Cleaners has 3 generations of knowledge that ensure the highest in quality detergents and cleaning methods are used, along with the most advanced equipment. Walden Cleaners and Laundry, where the difference is quality. 19-13 is the bench point advantage for Oklahoma State today. 3-point game again.
And Bjorne back in for Kalu. Makes the interior, at least the middle of the zone defense, a little tougher to go over the top.
The enemy kick out 3. James, good. 6th double-double in 7 games for Christian James.
Well, that's the thing. He has not had a huge game offensively, and it's hard to keep a player of his caliber down. You know, at some point, he's going to get shots to go.
And Ney and McNeese tangled up, and McNeese is holding that ankle again. And Jamani hops over to the front row and takes a seat. Works so hard to get back, and then you go down on a play such as this.
Well, you know, he's in a lot of pain right now, trying to overcome that. And right there, as Ane goes up, and the reason the foul's called is McNeese, as Ane leaves his feet, he's up under him, and you see him right there. I mean, there's no hesitation. Both hands straight to the ankle.
Miles Reynolds now helping Jimani McNeese as Alex Brown, the longtime Sooner trainer, comes over to have a look as well. And McNeese trying to walk it off toward the end of the bench. Common foul is the call from Keith Kimball. Referee comes over to tell us. See Alex Brown and Jimani McNeese. They'll go to work on that tender ankle once again.
I tell you what, there's tender ankles, tendonitis in the knee, you know, a badly jammed finger. I mean, just you don't get over it because there's not enough time to rest and get away. I mean, he's got to play. He's going to have to continue to fight through the discomfort. And you hate to do that, but they need him for minutes as the Big 12 progresses.
Weathers driving James to the bucket, and he banks it up and in. Every time the Sooners land a perceived knockout blow, the young Cowboys get up off the canvas.
Well, Weathers right there taking advantage of officiating. James very good initially, but Weathers not giving up on it, using the space to get to the rim.
The enemy for three. No. And Desagua tips and takes the rebound. Weathers double teamed on the baseline, and a foul on Bieniemy.
Yeah, I'm not sure about this, but it was just kind of one of those deals. Bieniemy's trying not to foul, and he got his hand hooked in there, I think. Let's take a look. Here's Weathers. Can't turn the corner. Good help defense right there from Doolittle. And then when the guy picks up his dribble, yeah, right there, you want to mirror the ball and pressure the ball.
Desagua misses, and they tap the rebound, and here come the Sooners. Five and a half remaining. Tight ball game.
Oklahoma just hasn't gotten that 10-2 type run to really separate themselves from Oklahoma State.
Manick off the Bieniemy feed.
Yeah, I think that's one of the underrated parts of Brady Manick's game. A big that can move without the ball. Defender loses sight of Manick, eyes solely focused on the ball, and the defender's back turn, just cut back door.
13 points and 5 rebounds for Manick, but Weathers answers again.
A tough move right there. See Weathers' confidence growing today.
And that pass a little too sharp between Manick's hands, out of bounds.
One thing that Bieniemy has done is on makes by Oklahoma State, they've quickly got the ball in bounds and immediately are pushing the basketball. Missed opportunity there. Oklahoma State, of these two teams, as we sit here, Chad, no question, they are the more fatigued and tired team right now.
4:30 to play, shot clock at 15. Weathers probes again. Shot clock down to 5. Weathers a 3. Doesn't shoot many. Here comes Bieniemy gliding the other way. Feeds Manick for the slam. Timeout, Cowboys. A wonderful Saturday afternoon crowd inside the Lloyd Noble Center, and they've witnessed a very good Bedlam Round 1 for 2019. Welcome back alongside Brendan Manzer. I'm Chad McKee. Norman is her happy place, and it's a happy building right now because the home team is up by 6 with just over 4 minutes left here.
And brought a really emotion and energy to Oklahoma.
Crowd on their feet with under 4 minutes left. We'll see where the Cowboys go. It's been Weathers and Waters for the most part. This is Jones. And Reynolds rebounds it to Doolittle.
You know, interesting. You see Calixte with the ball right here. We talked to Lon Kruger yesterday. He's never been in a situation, really, very much, where you have a 6-7 point lead and you have to grind out a victory against a Big 12 opponent. He was at Maine. They didn't win a lot of games. He was a good player. He's about all they had. But this is an opportunity for him to close the game for Oklahoma at the point guard position.
Christian Doolittle, huge afternoon. He's got 15. Desagua has a big answer the other way. His 4th 3 of the day.
That's what making nearly 26,000 threes in the summer can do. He went away in a design play where he came back with the defense relaxing.
James circles around a Doolittle screen and gets to the window.
So a veteran team in Oklahoma the last 2 possessions. You're in a grinder trying to maintain a lead. You get something in the paint from Doolittle, and then you get something in the paint from Christian James.
Weathers knocked to the deck and headed to the free throw line. That's the first foul on Brady Manick, unbelievably. Well, there's Lon Kruger. He's wearing the Jordan tennis shoes today. Coach Kruger, a Coaches vs. Cancer Champions Award recipient, huge in the fight against cancer. He said, normally we do t-shirt or we do tennis shoes the last week of January. He said he's going to do it all month long in honor of the fight against cancer. He's also going tieless today. Casual look for Coach Kruger.
Those Coach Hartman's shoes, right? Those are pretty sweet. You got a pair of those?
I do not. Weathers quiets the crowd a bit. University of Oklahoma Extended Campus offers programs for working adults and lifelong learners. Degrees online, on-site, on your schedule. Become the tradition. Visit pacs.ou.edu.
And Oklahoma needs to be patient offensively like they've been. And Oklahoma State's got to be patient defensively. Be solid, not give anything up easy.
Miles Reynolds draws a foul, count the bucket. He's so adept at that.
But what you like about Reynolds, Chad, is he's a straight line driver to the rim, but he has his head up. So here's the help rotating over by McGriff, so he pulls up. And you've got a retreating Desagua trying to recover on the closeout. And once again, you hit that right elbow of a jump shooter, and it's hard for the official not to make that call, particularly when you're on the road.
Sooners have made 8 of their last 9 field goals. They have a 9-point lead with 2 minutes left. Likely back in there. He's been in foul trouble. And Weathers is fouled by Calixte. 1-1 here.
Yeah, I like the idea of Oklahoma State moving the ball and looking to drive. But it took 18 seconds because of the good closeouts, contesting, talking by Oklahoma. And it finally caught up with them. But it was deep enough into the possession with a 9-point lead. You will take that if you're Lon Kruger.
Weathers has shot only 3 of 10 from the field, and he misses that. McGriff yanks it down, but can't finish. McGriff on a pogo stick finishes it.
Wait, strong second effort right there from McGriff to stay with it.
Just padding the rebound stats. He's got 9 points and 7 boards. There goes Calixte splitting a double team. James a 3. Calixte up high, pulls it away.
Boy, big rebound right there. Calixte, tremendous hustle. Do the right thing here. Milk more time off the clock if you're Oklahoma.
There goes Reynolds, and he and Doolittle cannot quite connect. 12th Sooner turnover.
And enough time, Oklahoma State doesn't need to try to get it all back on this possession. You've got to give your offense a chance, move the ball, look to drive, Maybe draw foul, extend the game.
Waters, no. James lost it, but right to Manick. And the Sooners can smell it. Weathers commits the foul that'll send Calixte to the free throw line for a 1-and-1. Well, Oklahoma State led once at 15-14. Oklahoma kept pulling away. They led by 9 here in the second half. Oklahoma State got within 51-50. And that's when Oklahoma began to take control.
51-50. That's an old Van Halen album.
Yeah,
right
way
there.
to go. Showing your age from the 1980s.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Have to throw that in there. But no, it's, you know, it's been a game where long lengths of momentum have not occurred. Oklahoma's been able to stay out in front. Oklahoma State has hung tough.
Eight points for Calixte now. It's the most free throws the Sooners have made in a game. They've made 24. They've needed just about all of them. 9-point lead. As see a little conversation there between Mike Boynton and young freshman guard Isaac Likely. Weathers on the attack, lost that one going up. Jones a three. Weathers another rebound. Blocked by Manick, who tips it to Doolittle. And then the foul committed by Weathers on Doolittle. Frustrating day. A lot of chippies missed by Weathers.
You know, there were several in the first half where he got to the cup and didn't finish. Oklahoma did a really good job in the second half, particularly the latter part of the second half, shading him. In other words, if I'm one pass away from Weathers, unless I'm on a guy like Desagua, I'm shading over, helping on the drive. And so, therefore, he's been cut off. And to ask him at 6'2" to score over a lengthy 6'7" Christian Doolittle, it's possible, but it's definitely a tougher chore.
What a terrific day for Doolittle, leading the Sooners in scoring with 16 and 8 rebounds to go along with that. And a turnover. Weathers miscommunicates with Desagua. That's only 9 turnovers by Oklahoma State in a hostile environment with a young club. Shot clock is off. Sooners will bounce back from their loss in Allen Fieldhouse and move to 1-1 in Big 12 play. Oklahoma State will fall to 0-2 to start league action. It was not easy. A grinder of a first half, and finally the Sooners pull away in the end.
I think anything different in Bedlam, it doesn't matter who's old, who's young. You wouldn't expect anything different. And also, that's just life in the Big 12. But a good win by Lon Kruger. A valiant effort, I think, by Oklahoma State with inexperience, battling foul trouble to hang around. But Oklahoma, the better team here this afternoon.
One in the Big 12. They are 12-2 overall for head coach Lon Kruger, who is standing by with Jessica.
Coach, these rivalry games can be grinders. How important was the experience that you have on your ball team to close on this one out?
That grinder sums it up pretty well. It wasn't pretty, but both clubs fought hard. It wasn't pretty. Both clubs disrupted the other, but proud of our guys. They hung in there, and from start to finish, it wasn't easy, but good to win and learn.
Christian Doolittle has stepped up big for you in these past few games. He had 16 points again today. How important is his aggressiveness? What does that aggressiveness do for this team?
He's been huge, and it's something he can do. And now he's looking forward to it. And I think he's going to keep doing that and get better. So we need that from him, and no doubt that he'll keep moving in that direction.
And your freshman, Jamal Bienemy, in his first Bedlam game, had 3 points, but those 5 assists, especially that distributing down the stretch. How did that help you guys pull this one out?
He did a good job. He hit that 3, of course, when we needed it very badly. And then he moves the ball well. He sees the floor well. He's going to continue to get better and better.
Finally, Coach, a bounce back from the loss at Kansas. How important is this first Big 12 win?
It's huge. You got to protect the home court in any conference, and I thought our guys understood that. Thought they, again, guarded pretty well on the defensive end, and, again, came with a good win.
Coach, thanks.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jess. Thanks to Coach Lon Kruger as well. Our Sooner player of the game, presented by OU Medicine, is Christian Doolittle. 16 points, 8 rebounds, continues a terrific 4-game run.
Yeah, 4 games straight where he scored in double figures, and he gets those 16 points on just 8 shots. Gets to the line 10 times. I mean, highly productive, efficient, continues to play at a high level. in addition to bringing that good defense, he has done virtually every game this season.
OU Medicine, leading healthcare, a proud sponsor of OU Athletics. Your final stats are presented by Taco Mayo. Fresh Mex, built to order. Wasn't pretty from a field goal shooting standpoint. 6 of 26 from three-point range for the Cowboys. Sooners just 7 of 28 for 25%. But the foul line was beautiful for Oklahoma. They made 25 free pitches today.
That's an old Eddie Sutton reference, free pitches right there. I tell you the big stat, maybe you and I didn't talk enough about, was the rebounding, a decisive advantage, 51-39. Oklahoma had 15 offensive rebounds. And that's one of the areas that Lon Kruger felt like they could exploit.